Greetings to all of you, and of course I do welcome you to this broadcast. As you join the broadcast, would you be kind enough to indicate whether you can see and you can also hear me clearly? I would be most appreciative. To those of you who happen to be saints, I would bid you shalom. To my fellow Guyanese, to those of you who live here, especially to those of you who live in the Essequibo region or area, that county, I greet you tonight. To all Guyanese who live overseas, I do greet you. And it is without fear, it is not without any grave concern or great concern that I greet you. I am most definitely confident that it is well, as I would say to the saints who belong to Yahweh, that it is always well. This broadcast is one that is geared towards bringing to the fore matters that are of particular interest to me, to other Guyanese, to those who are in various nations of the world, and it's of course that have gotten even the interest of the US because of their greed and their interest. Please, if you do not mind, share this broadcast with someone who you know has an interest in knowing the truth, in hearing the unfiltered truth. Tag someone who knows normally here with us, preferably Irfan Ali. More important than him, Bharat Jagdia, who has us exactly where we are today, Aubrey Norton, and the others who are so afraid to stand up and speak now. Those of you who are of the truth, and those of you who are not, but you do pay attention to that which I say, or you follow me for your various reasons. One, in some cases, to be able to find some loophole or flaw or fault or some cause to accuse me of something. To those of you who do that, you would recall, if you have followed enough, that I said to Irfan Ali that Nicolas Maduro will deal with him. Yahweh will use Nicolas Maduro to deal with Ali. Have you remembered my saying that? I said it on numerous occasions before referendum was even announced or anything of that nature. I said to Irfan Ali that because of his refusal to genuinely stand for what is right and do what is right, and because he chooses to disrespect true servants of Yahweh, that Nicolas Maduro shall deal with him and will cause him to be put to shame. Can you imagine what it feels like, or would feel like, to know that you are called the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and someone from another country says that those who are living in Essequibo, which is 2/3 of your country in terms of landmass, that they are now either going to be his or citizens of Venezuela, or they have just a few moments to leave. The place where all, the vast majority, I should say, the overwhelming majority of your natural resources lie is Essequibo. Your oil is there. Gold and diamond are there. All of it is there. The teacher in me cannot make me cause the likes of Alex Passad to go by so easily. Alex Passad, you is a plural pronoun, so you have to say you are a madman. I know that your English language is so deficient, but I couldn't help but tell you that. You is considered to be plural, so it's always you are, not you is. I would like to think that your future comments would be proven to be better in terms of grammar and punctuation. You're welcome. At least somebody is willing to teach you, huh? We've got timber. We have got diamond. We have manganese. So many of our natural resources, to some extent maybe even bauxite, because Rockstone area will have that. So many of our natural resources are found in Essequibo. We've also got vast areas of rice and other agricultural products. And can you imagine Irfan Ali sitting in the state house that's owned by us as Guyanese, and only last night he discovered, apparently, that Nicolas Maduro is not joking. Only last night he discovered that Maduro is not playing. Apparently, it's only last night Irfan Ali has got a revelation of some sort. Now, in the moments leading to this referendum that was held on the 3rd of December, Irfan Ali saw it fitting, along with Bara Jagdeo, to head to Dubai. Can you imagine that? That when our country is faced with such a significant threat, Irfan Ali saw it necessary, along with Bara Jagdeo, to head to Dubai to talk about climate, or whatever they went to talk about. And some of you don't know this, but I'll inform you of this. If Venezuela and Guyana are at odds for some reason, can you please inform me as to why the Minister, as he's called, of Foreign Affairs would be in France, or Paris, as they say, on vacation? Y'all come and speak to me, please. Can you tell all Guyanese? Can you tell any Guyanese with sense why Irfan Ali would be in Dubai with Bara Jagdeo, and you thought, who is paid to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs, is in Paris on vacation with his child, when Maduro has got so many millions of Venezuelans accompanying him all around the place, and he's hurling threats at Guyana, insisting that he's going to do something with Essequibo. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is in France, Irfan Ali in Dubai, Bara Jagdeo is in Dubai, and they care about Guyana. Aubrey Norton is still waiting to figure out what he's supposed to say. When your country is under threat, Region 10, by demographic, by population, voted overwhelmingly for the PNC. You could call it Apnea FC all you want. Rockstone is in this region. Rockstone is the Essequibo, where you go to catch Lukanani and so on. That river passes through Rockstone. Aubrey Norton, his territory, as you call it, his constituency, is under threat. What have you seen him do in Region 10? Places like Dartmouth and Essequibo are known to be significant supporters of the PNC. What have you seen him do? He's waiting. He is waiting, apparently, for the easy way out, to which I will speak. But I would like to wonder, and I would like it to be out in the public domain. Now, those of you who are in Fàilure who have to monitor what I say tonight, good evening to you all. I know that you don't want to do it, but you have to, because you're being paid, and you have to eat, and you have courts to pay, and you have to pay for a car. So monitor me all you wish. Those of you in Guyana, you have many more things to worry about than what I say tonight. And in this moment of crisis, the one who's paid $2+ million Guyana dollars per month and lives rent-free in State House, is driven in whatever he wants, flies in a chopper, can fly in a military plane, travels as if he's on vacation every 2 weeks or 2 minutes. Irfan Ali, head to Dubai. Can you imagine that? Barra Jagdeo heads to Dubai, and the minister with direct responsibility for international relations, you thought, is in Paris on vacation, as far as the report would have come to me. When I inquired about where he is, I was told that he's on vacation with his daughter. Because I was wondering, how could you have a crisis of this nature? And I didn't hear from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, more so the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I was wondering if we have a Minister of Foreign Affairs, one who's being paid to function as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, because there is a foreign affairs crisis in Guyana. Venezuela is not Guyana. Can you all imagine? Can you imagine that a caring government, as the PPP calls itself, has got three of the most important people? Somebody say Anil is in Aruba. They are leaving here because of fear, as far as it seems to me as if they're intimidated. They are fearful. They are wondering what can happen to them. And I said it to you, I would have said it before the referendum. If anybody in Guyana is serious in reference to us as Guyanese people, we should stop every one of them from leaving this country. Did I not tell you that? All of these talkers here who have us in this position should be barred from leaving Guyana. We should be at every airport stopping them, saying you're not leaving this country. Somebody's saying Gil and Priya are in Florida. Well, I don't know how true that is, but I know that many of them are not here. They're making Facebook comments, but they're not around. So Maduro has gone ahead, and Maduro allowed a referendum, and the word is not referendum, it's referendum, to be held in Venezuela. Please listen to this carefully. I observed the PPP's propaganda machine and the idiots, the morons, the intellectual dwarfs, the puppets, and those who are whores, male and female by nature, in reference to what you do for money. You sell your soul, you have no conscience, you have no pride or dignity. You are posting with the most stupid photographs I've ever seen. Empty polling stations, empty buildings, saying that the people did not support Maduro's referendum. Let's speak to that first of all, as to why Guyana is in trouble. The argument, that's not me, but I expect to be buffered quite a lot tonight. Is it better? I expect this to happen. Is it fine? Okay, so once you indicate that we have a better stream and the broadcast is once again stable, I will speak to you. Be back. Now, better. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the feedback. Better. We just had another glitch. Okay. So, the people were sharing, the PPP agents, puppets, were sharing that Venezuelans did not support Maduro's referendum, and that only 11% of the Venezuelans came out to vote. Now what does that mean? What does that mean to you insignificant idiots? What does it mean? I'm not restarting. Is it better? because I want you to hear this carefully. The PPP said that only 11% of the Venezuelans went out to vote in the referendum. So what does that mean? They said that Venezuelans overwhelmingly rejected Maduro's referendum. These people are so shallow in reference to the PPP analysts and the puppets and playboys that they would type or say just about anything to ensure that Jagdeo, who is their main henchman, seeks to say, well, you get a contract, you can get this, you can get that, and you can get contracts and whatever, so you get some money, you get a food, as they say, you have a bread to eat. But how can you, if you attend high school or primary school, be so stupid to say that because, in your view, only 10% of the people went to vote in the referendum, it means it failed? Are you so daft? If a referendum is announced and 2% of the population came out to vote, the results are tabulated and the decision is made based on those 2%. In your election PPP, that is still inconclusive as far as I'm concerned, because you refused for the court to hear the petitions. 50% of Guyanese did not vote. About 30+% of the population voted. And you daft nitwits say that you're in power. So if you're in power, because only 33% of the population coming out to vote, what is the difference? If they rejected the referendum, why is Irfan Ali, your puppet leader, last night saying that he has now got serious issues with Maduro's decision? What is the problem? If the people rejected the referendum, then Maduro cannot move by the referendum's result to say Essequibo is now going to be theirs. Do you not get tired of being just stupid people? Aren't you weary of being used to be the PPP puppets to look as if you have no sense? In the midst of an international crisis, you are still exhibiting the most shallow degree of reasoning as I've ever seen. And it is common with the PPP civic supporters. I should say those of you who are whoredom or whore-like, whorish in your conduct. You would do and say anything for money. You are sitting in what you all call power. Based on a result from an election where less than 40% of the population went out to vote. And you still have the mind to say that the referendum is not recognized because only 11% went out. Yet you are your leader, Ali, the one who's paid to dance in front as the showboy, is telling the country that he's concerned. Yet he called the United Nations Security Council. Why? If only 11% of Venezuelans, you said, went out to vote in the referendum, why are you calling the Security Council? For what purpose will you call the Security Council Irfan Ali? If your supporters are saying that only 11% of the people went out to vote and Venezuelans rejected Maduro's referendum, why did you call the Security Council? For what? Tell the Guyanese, please. Tell us as Guyanese what sense it makes in what you're saying. You have lied so much. You have deceived this population so much, or sought to deceive the population so much, that you do not even know when to put the brakes on your stupidity. And when to stop and be a man of substance. You do not know when to do it. Do you not understand how elections function? In the local government election, it is the lowest percentage in Guyana for the past, how many cycles you've had? The lowest electoral turnout is in local government elections. Why did Jagdeo go and announce that they gained ground in Linden and you gained ground in Georgetown? You gained ground in other places. Why would you say that the local government elections recently held, the voter turnout was so low, but You are acknowledging the results that the PPP gained ground and the PPP beat the PNC in certain places. How can you say that you are acknowledging the results of a low voter turnout in your own local government election, but then the referendum turnout is something that you can use as a political toy? Well, if the Venezuelans rejected Maduro's referendum, I want you to tell me why Irfan Ali called the United Nations Secretary Council. Why did he call or speak to, as he said, the Brazilians, the leader? Why did he speak to those in the Caribbean? Why is he asking for international support? Why did he call the US security, in reference to the Congress, the council therein, to say he wants them and the army to work so closely together? Why are they working together, Irfan? Because the people rejected. If the people rejected Maduro's referendum, why are you asking for the security body in the US to pay attention to what's happening in Guyana? Then Irfan Ali decides that instead of exercising restraint in reference to his asininity and his juvenile behaviors, instead of deciding that in the midst of a crisis where 2/3 of this country's landmass can be gone, instead of being a grown man to say that this is in the best interest of Guyanese, let me, I'm speaking in reference to him now, let me reach out to Aubrey Norton and let us consistently engage in conversations. Let me reach out to the likes of Gary Best and other people from the military, those who would have been retired and so on. Let me reach out even to the military officers who were strategically sent overseas and so on, so that Khan could get this position that he can't handle right now. Let me put all of that aside, instead of saying that, Irfan, and fill a room with minds who have been through, even those retired. Fill the room with minds who understand strategy. No. You met with Aubrey Norton and you all had a brief photo opportunity and say, well, we agree on a few things. And Aubrey, of course, has to have his political position. We agree on a few things and we agree on this, and that's it. And that's it. Venezuela is threatening to take all of Essequibo, and the two of you met once. Once. And then you formulated a joint statement, and you expect Guyanese to respect any one of y'all when all of Essequibo is targeted by Venezuela, and Maduro says we will take it all. You and Norton, in the midst of this, we meet once. Once or twice. The referendum was held, and you and Norton are yet to sit together before the press and say, as a unit we are, as a body we stand, and as a nation we no longer have opposition and we no longer have government, or it's supposed to be administration, but you all call it government. You're not the government, you're the administration. We are governed by you, the opposition, and the people. Instead of yours sitting, today is the 6th, or maybe the 7th, the 6th. The referendum was held on the 3rd. And you and Aubrey Norton are yet to sit together to speak to this country, to speak to Essequibans about what happens to them. And you all are serious? And you're serious about this whole situation? You don't recognize what's about to happen to your country? Do you not recognize that you're toying with the people, you're playing with the truth, has got you exactly where you are? You, Irfan Ali, more so Barajagdio, allowed over, in my view, 50,000 just about or more Venezuelans to be here when I told you on numerous occasions. I said to you that you are inviting or causing to be here our arch rivals. You don't know if they are military trained. You don't know what their purpose of being here is. You don't know whether these people are highly skilled soldiers coming with rubber slippers, dragging around the place, asking to wash a car, and they're strategically positioned around the country. You don't know that. Your leader, Bara Jagdeo, said that they are of Guyanese descent or parentage. And that APNU, now in the midst of Maduro threatening to take all of Essequibo, Jagdeo has the face to tell Guyanese that APNU or Venezuelans, APNU is the problem. In essence, those black people over there is the problem, not us. We are not in his view, we are not the ones who are xenophobic. It's APNU. They don't like y'all. We are not threatening to y'all. We're not going to harm you. Can you imagine that when Maduro has been threatening to take all of Essequibo, Bara Jagdeo sees it fitting to tell Venezuelans that Guyanese are the enemies, PNC is the enemy, APNU is the enemy, not us. I speak to you Guyanese tonight with the passion of one who understands who has us in this position. With the passion of one who understands why we have to respond as a people if you intend to survive through the situation. If you think that you could play nice and pretty with Bara Jagdeo, Irfan Ali, and all the people players involved here, you play nice with them. And I will sit back here and watch all of you, or most of you, experience what I know will come your way. How can you expect Guyanese, mainly of African descent, who support the PNC? I don't support them, but it's known. You all say that. The BBC said that. It's known. Carter Center, everybody said Guyanese vote along racial lines and all that. Well, fine. How do you, Bara Jagdeo, can get off telling anyone? How do you think it's okay to say to our arch rivals, Venezuelans, that you, the PPP, do not have an issue with them? It is the PNC that does have an issue with them. It's APNU. They're xenophobic. Well, once Maduro recognized that you, Mr. Jagdeo, have no issue with targeting your own people for political gain, now you're going to see exactly how you played into his hand. Because you've shown him that you are prepared to attack your own Guyanese people to defend Venezuelans. How stupid of you. And I don't know why people say that you're a smart person, you're the best politician in this country. Well, if you are the best, if you amount to the best politician Guyana has, Guyana is finished. You are a political dunce. For you to know that Maduro wants Essequibo, and you tell Maduro's people who are in Guyana that APNU is the problem, you have shown that you are willing to attack your own countrymen to gain power by the hands of Venezuelans. Well, let's see how Maduro's... Now you can get power. You can get power in Demerara. You can get power in Babis. But if Maduro has his way, there's no more Essequibo for you. So where's the oil coming from? Where's the gold going to come from? Where's the diamond going to come from? Don't forget how many of your friends, maybe you would have gold blocks owned in Essequibo. What happens to Muhammad? What happens to all your boys and friends and whoever it is, and Ali boys and friends? What happened to the timber industry? What happened to Tulsi Basad and those people? What happens to Magdisi? Your hope is that the US would hop in because of their interest in ExxonMobil and they're going to defend you. That's what you think, huh? Let me give you some news, Mr. Jagdeo. And I don't call you Mr. because I respect you. Let me give you some news, Barrett. The USA, if Maduro assures the US that he would not stop Exxon from pumping oil out of that well, you are on your own. Just know that. If ever Maduro can assure or reassure Exxon that he would not stop them from pumping, it would just be Venezuelans all they pumping at the same rate, or just, of course, Venezuela will not accept the stupid contract you all have agreed to. But if ever the contracts and the details are feasible for Venezuela and for China, you are on your own. The only way that the US will ever step in here to protect you and protect Essequibo is if Venezuela attacks or hinders, I should say, the production of oil. Nothing else. I have not forgotten that the US, one of the former ambassadors, maybe more than them, have got interest in gold. They work for the gold field. Remember that? Rutledge, I think, the one who left, one was ambassador here and became vice president of the gold fields. So they have interest in gold. They're enjoying themselves in Essequibo. Guyanese are not enjoying themselves like your friends and your boys. So if you think that the US is going to do something to protect you in Essequibo, think again and hope and pray that Maduro does not reach out to them to say to them that he has no intention of affecting or interfering with the production of oil. Further, I say to you that in the midst of a crisis, of this nature, Guyana, Irfan Ali has the Venezuelan ambassador in this country. I cannot believe it. I cannot comprehend why Irfan Ali would have the Venezuelan ambassador in Guyana, in Georgetown. And you PPP people talk about governance. What can you govern? Which country can you govern? Where in the world do you think it makes sense that you have a very small area of landmass compared to Venezuela? Your city is so centralized, your governance is all, because you want to control everything, it's so centralized, and you have got the Venezuelan president in Guyana. What does I mean? What do I mean by that? An ambassador is sent by the president. He's here at the behest of the president. He gives to Irfan Ali the credentials sent by Maduro to say, this here is me in Guyana. If you don't know what an ambassador does. And Irfan Ali, Barra Jagdeo has got Maduro in Guyana because that's what an ambassador is. The ambassador is a representative, a sent one who functions as though Venezuela is here. The ambassador is the expressed image in reference to functionality of the president of Venezuela. And Guyana has refused to send him packing. In international terms or diplomatic terms, it's called rendering him persona non grata. You are unwelcome, you're not a person anymore to us. Go. So while Maduro announced that Venezuela will take Essequibo, and he announced the military officer will be responsible for Essequibo, a military general, Irfan Ali has the Venezuelan ambassador in Georgetown still. So the Venezuelan ambassador, who I say again by international understanding, if you understand diplomacy and international relations, that ambassador is Maduro. Because he does what Maduro says. He's here at the behest of Maduro to do what Maduro says and to function as Maduro in Guyana. He's here. So he could simply sit in his house tonight and put the news on and see Irfan Ali speaking on all the media or hear what is being said in Guyana. He can go around and sit at some hotel somewhere, or Pegasus or Marriott, wherever it is, and he can hear conversations. That's the state that we're in. But let us not forget that Irfan Ali said that is implied, I should say, that I'm a false prophet. Remember that? And that I'm an extremist. Remember that? Okay. Well, let's see who's false, because I told you that Maduro is going to do exactly what he did to you. I told you that it's not about whether Venezuela will think about coming first to Cuba. I said to you that Venezuela shall, in the referendum, seek to possess, and without a referendum, they will seek to take it. But I'm the false prophet. As the referendum approached, and we knew what the outcome would be, the president of this country, as he's paid to be, ran. Guyanese across the nation were instructed, even in the places of work, they were instructed that they should wear t-shirts that says Guyana is we own. Then they went out into the schoolyards, and soldiers went out into fields, and they stood there making images or formations like mass games. They don't like mass games with burning, but they could do it now. The map of Guyana with using human bodies, and they made the map of Guyana, and then they have flags, and you have t-shirts all around, and of course PP supporters have to wear them. Essequibo is we own. When Maduro, according to Ali's confession, began to assemble troops, this is Irfan Ali said that Maduro was assembling troops at the border. That's what Ali said. That Maduro began to increase or intensify the presence of Venezuelan troops at the border. In Guyana, we stood and have people form lines, and then you make the map of Guyana. You wear a t-shirt, and suddenly Egil figured out that instead of there being one Guyana, we are one people, one nation, one destiny. Look what it took for us to hear national songs being played by the Guyana Police Force Band, and for us to hear national songs on the radio. You are wicked, and you are weak. You are disgraceful. You are not patriotic. You're scared. You believe that now, Egil, you could get rid of Irfan Ali's one Guyana terminology. No! All the roundabouts you'll have in Georgetown say one Guyana. Go by that. Don't come now tell me about one people, one nation, one destiny. Guyanese don't want to hear that anymore, because you want to sell your one Guyana based foolishness. Sell that. You suddenly know that we all have one destiny. No, we don't. Your destiny is different to mine. We don't have the same destiny anymore. Because you want one Guyana, sell it. You could suddenly post about there being one people, one nation, one destiny. Oh, you suddenly know this song called How I Love My Country Guyana. How you remember that? How do you remember that though? How do you suddenly instruct Guyanese to play, or the radio stations to play certain things on the airwaves? Why? Why? What about one Guyana? Why didn't put one Guyana in t-shirts and that people wear around the place? Instead of seeking to have a military presence at the border, ensuring that we can at least stand there, and more so, instead of having your immigration officers and the Guyana Defense Force officers head around Georgetown and the coastal rivers and pick up Venezuelans, have them in an area whereby you know in various communities they are in a space where we can control them after this referendum. No. You have them all around the place. They're still free to sell hot dog and stuff like that. They're working as normal people. Because Guyana has no problem here. And then every school has to sing not a blade of grass, not one blue sake, not one rice grain. Venezuela would have been assembling troops at the border. And you singing not one blue sake, not one rice grain. And that's supposed to be a military response. You and Norton Ali have not met to speak. You have not sat with the opposition leaders. You have not sat with anybody on national television to show that there's a united front. When Venezuela, Maduro and his opponent say we all agree, take Essequibo. My question to y'all is, where would your wealth come from now? Further, I say to you that in the midst of this crisis, Irfan Ali was asked on CNN, interviewed, about the situation. I thought that that was the most laughable of all things I've heard. Irfan Ali had the face, the tenacity, the temerity, the audacity to sit on international news to say that Guyana has always been law-abiding. We are a law-abiding country, quote unquote. This is unbelievable. Irfan Ali, of all people, said that we are law-abiding, and that whatever the ICJ says, the International Court of Justice, that's what we're going to abide by. Irfan Ali, if we were law-abiding, tell us, why is it that when Justice Kissoon ruled that ExxonMobil should have unlimited insurance to protect us as Guyanese from an oil spill, why did Jagdeo challenge it, disregard it, seek to fight it? Jagdeo sought to fight his own people to defend Exxon. And you are law-abiding? You are law-abiding and you don't respect what Justice Kissoon said? You are law-abiding and you are joining Exxon to fight your own people? So why did you not say, well, we respect what Justice Kissoon said, and we're going to now implement this, and Exxon has to abide by what the justice said? You are law-abiding? If you are law-abiding, how is it possible then for you to have Clifton Hicken functioning as a commissioner of police acting over the age of, and he's over 55? You law-abiding? Did you consult with Aubrey Norton according to law to say there's an emergency in the country? We do not have anyone who can function as a commissioner of police or act in that capacity, and therefore I beg your indulgence. You are law-abiding, and you are yet to have one commissioner named or appointed to the Judicial Committee or Commission. You are law-abiding, and you said that we don't need to have a Chief Justice confirmed and the Chancellor of the Judiciary confirmed. You are law-abiding? When you have a contract signed for the new Demerara Harbour Bridge to be constructed without there being, at that time, a procurement commission appointed, and you are law-abiding? When contracts were being doled out across for hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and there was no tender board functioning, you are law-abiding? Do you understand what law-abiding means? You are law-abiding when Darmla was accused of raping a Nazi Fredericks, and he never spent a second in the lockup. According to law, he's supposed to be charged by law. He is supposed to be charged by law, not by DPP. And you are law-abiding? Huh? You are law-abiding, and Joseph Hamilton said when young Guyanese men and women were being terminated, fired illegally from their jobs because they didn't want to take what Frank Anthony said should take, this COVID vaccine garbage. You sat there and saw Joseph Hamilton say that when the law, Occupational Health and Safety Act, would have been framed, there was nothing like COVID in mind. And as a result of that, it's okay to fire people. When the law prohibits a worker from being forced to take any treatment or to divulge any information or to pay for any information in reference to screening, you say they must pay for PCR tests. And the law prohibits that. And Joseph Hamilton, you told CNN that you're law-abiding, but your Minister of Labour said that when the law was framed, nobody thought about COVID. So you could break the law now since nobody thought about it. And you're law-abiding. You are law-abiding. And Jagdeo and Granger sat there and agreed that they could go to an electoral, thank you, Obi, exactly, to an electoral recount that doesn't exist in law. You are law-abiding and had started saying with that absolute garbage about article or clause 60. You are law-abiding. And Norton said that GCOM could decide and it becomes law. So Article 60 becomes law when the legislative body of this country is the House of Assembly. And Norton said, it's on record, it's on video, when he was talking to Jagdeo, that Claudette Singh, GCOM could decide, and therefore Article 60 becomes law. And Guyana is law-abiding? When your legislators don't even understand that they are the lawmakers in your country? How are we law-abiding? How are we considered to be law-abiding? You are the most criminal bunch that this country has ever seen. So you were asked, Irfan Ali, about your response to what Maduro has said, that Essecuba is his. And as much as y'all want to talk about Forbes Burnham, he would have never responded with such weakness, shallowness in reference to intellectual capabilities, and any exhibition of one being so weak in the midst of a crisis. Your response to what will you do now that Maduro is coming for Essecuba, in reference to what Maduro said, your response is that you called the UN Security Council. Look at your response. Not that Guyanese are prepared to defend this country or to stand up and say we're not going to give anything. Why play not the blade of grass then? Why would you play not the blade of grass and your first response was that you called outside to help you? Look at your response. Venezuela says we'll take Essecuba. We'll take 2/3 of your country. And your response is, we called the UN Security Council. We called on the Caribbean leaders. There's no country in the Caribbean, Irfan Ali, that possesses one fighter jet. Even one. Maduro has about 20 or 14 of them. And you called your Caribbean boys, call Mr. Maya Motley, call Maya the man to help you, because she's more man than you are. Maya, maybe she could tell you, Irfan, don't do that. What are you calling me for? What do you expect Barbados to do? You were asked on CNN, what would be your response to Venezuela's hostility and Maduro's announcement that there's a new map? According to the referendum, we have a new state called Essecuba. You said in response that you called the UN, you called the Caribbean, you talked to Brazil, you talked to the US, not even the president. You spoke to a committee responsible for security in the US. You didn't speak to Joe Biden because you're not that important to Joe Biden. Why didn't you call Dubai, Irfan? That's what I want to know. You headed to Dubai to talk about climate. Why didn't you call the Prince of Dubai? Why didn't you call one of these, the Emir, who came to see the other day? All these fellas who coming here and having investment in Guyana and having land for farming and all these, why didn't you call them? You never even said that all Guyanese, including the leader of the opposition, stand prepared, stand united, stand ready. You haven't said that because you can't. You also, Irfan, seem to forget that the same soldiers that you were asking now to go to the border or telling them they should go somewhere to fight, you, with the COVID-19 story, your administration pulled them out of studying, out of academic pursuits, terminated their scholarships. You seem to forget. You call the UN. What's the UN supposed to do to you? Now Barra Jagdeo can hardly talk. Let him come to speak. Because if you are law-abiding, Irfan, how do we have someone in Jagdeo being called vice president? You're law-abiding? What article of law speaks us having a president and a vice president? Because Mark Phillips is nowhere close to functioning as a prime minister. Jagdeo is in command of all y'all. Which part, which article of our constitution says that Barra Jagdeo can be called vice president? Show me one. With no other portfolio, he's vice president and he's hopping around there while Mark Phillips is a silent onlooker. While Mark Phillips should be or is the first vice president. There's no more. There's only one first. Look at Guyana. Look at what you've made it. You, led by Jagdeo, have caused us, you're being led by him, have us exactly where we are. You have us here. I will reiterate to all Guyanese that the likes of Aubrey Norton cannot lead me. And I'll tell you why at this moment. Aubrey Norton has got the perfect opportunity now to step forward and lead Guyana. Because Irfan Ali is afraid to do it. Instead, Aubrey Norton cannot find 500 out of 200,000 plus people to take to the streets of Georgetown and march towards the Venezuelan embassy to say to the ambassador, you are not welcome here. Leave. Aubrey Norton cannot find 500 people to stand in front of State House to tell Ali, this is our house. And if you're not going to lead Guyana as a president, come out of it. Because he's afraid of being arrested. Norton is the most fearful. I don't know why he's so afraid of being locked up. The easy road to the State House for Norton is for the US to put him there. And that's the route I think he wants to take. Where you just sit back, play along with as Mr. Nice Guy, make a few statements here and there, and then in 2025, the US puts you there. It's called regime change, and the US are masters at that. Come out. You don't wait for 4 days after Venezuela said it'll take us to come out. Or whenever you decided to step out. Step out. Step up. Demand that Jagdeo, demand that Ali be tried for treason. Jagdeo has been treasonous on numerous occasions. This situation is the essence, is the apex of it, the zenith, the highest point, where he had, in the midst of an international crisis, where our enemies, being Venezuela, are seeking to take Essequibo, he would look at Venezuelans to say that the PPP is not the problem, Guyanese are the PNC is the problem, them over there. He attacked the PNC and never attacked the Venezuelans. He defended Venezuelans being within our borders. Let me say to all Guyanese that on the 3rd, you had a day of prayer. You had concert, I think it would have been. You all gathered in all kinds of things you performed with. And when you did all of that, Maduro then announced, or would have announced, the result of the referendum. And what's the result? That Essequibo belongs to them. That's the result. And they're going to take it. That's the result. I further inform you before I leave you that Maduro is supported heavily by a man named Vladimir Putin. And Putin is not afraid like Jagdeo. And Putin's not afraid of the chicken called Biden. Putin is not afraid of any one of these people because Putin is a born and bred killer. Putin sent 2 bombers, if you don't know, to Venezuela. 2 aircrafts that are military bombers. They're right across the border. Just be informed, Irfan Ali, that Vladimir Putin is going to protect Venezuela. Be informed, please, that the USA would not have the time to invest even more of the resources in Guyana because you are of no interest to the US. All of this, Guyanese, points to one thing, and please hear me carefully. Nicolas Maduro doesn't want Essequibo. Hear me carefully. Nicolas Maduro wants to deal with Jagdeo and Irfan Ali for allowing ExxonMobil to rape this region and enjoy it. When Exxon can declare that they made so many billions of dollars in profit in just 1 quarter, Maduro is not having it. Maduro has recognized that Irfan Ali is so weak that he has to rely on external forces, being the US, to protect him, while he sells his own people out to them in reference to our wealth. Maduro's issue is not Essequibo. Maduro's issue is with Jagdeo and Irfan Ali, and he will deal with them both. Maduro has got an ambassador here. Maduro has allowed enough Venezuelans to come to live and walk among us to see who has the wealth. Where is it going? And Maduro, if you saw that man's speech, you swore that he and I spoke on the phone, because Maduro echoed everything I said to y'all. Everything he said. That these people have got excessive wealth coming out of Essequibo, but it's not coming to the people. Have I not told you that? Have I not said that forever, for ad nauseum? I said it. I said to you that these people are raping this country, and all this oil wealth you talk about doesn't hit to you, doesn't hit you or hit me. Jagdeo refuses to allow us as Guyanese to receive even $500,000 Guyana dollars, $2,500 per month or per quarter from our oil money. Because he feels as though he owns it. So if you want Jack Deal to determine what happens to my oil money, you go defend Essequibo. Until you create within me and within the people of Guyana confidence, I say to you, that we own this, you and your friends will deal with it. Because I know exactly why Maduro is dealing with you all. And I am glad. And you can call me unpatriotic all you want. Somebody had to rise up. And now I speak to you as a man of Yah, a man of Yahweh. Somebody, I told you all, will rise up to deal with you. I told you that. This is not a secret. I said it to you. Finally, one man will deal with you. Not 10. One. Because you have refused, since you've been controlled, to allow Guyanese to enjoy the benefit of what we own. How can you tell me that Essequibo belongs to Guyana, but the oil is controlled by you and your friends? If Essequibo, where the oil is, belongs to Guyana, why do you have this committee you talk about, Dunson Barrow and these men, determining what happens to the oil, and it never gets to us? If Essequibo belongs to me, why do you not have a special account set up for every Guyanese? From the time they are born, they must inherit from the profits of the oil. No Guyanese was born from today. And if you want to know what the people's movement, I'm telling you now, if I were to ever have a chance to defend Guyana or to lead it, even in the House of Assembly speak to it, I will say demand this to the people. Every Guyanese child who would have been born, and you backdate it to when first oil came in 2018. When was it? 2018. The moment we began to pump the first drop of oil out of the ground, every child born from that day must have a particular sum of money into an account in the treasury. Every Guyanese child born from 2018 must never say that they have never benefited directly from oil. That's how you know we own it. You don't want that. You don't want it because your PPP big boys decide that you're going to consider us to be those who want handouts. Yet you come to give us from the oil money or your loans that you take. $40,000, not us. You give your supporters that. $100,000 here, you keep dropping money in people's laps. But you don't want to give Guyanese a measly $500,000 Guyana dollars. But we must fight, or we must stand for Essequibo. I would not even fly a Guyana flag to support a finale. Because you are weak, you are greedy, and you have no sense. You played around with this, and now that you see Maduro is serious, you now want to go and make some statement last night. It doesn't work like that. It does not work that way. It shows you lack foresight. You didn't see this was coming. I told you what Maduro would do, but I'm a false prophet. I told you this. So last night, in the wee hours of the night when I got up, I saw you giving some speech. And I was appalled to know that the false prophet word is coming to pass. And you now have to go and respond to Maduro. Why didn't you tell Maduro that I don't have time with you? After all, this false prophet London said that you would try to take Essequibo from us. And this false prophet London said that you're going to make certain demands, and you will say that Essequibo is yours, and show that you will do it. Every Guyanese child must receive, and every Guyanese household is supposed to have at least $250,000 per household per month or per quarter. Per quarter we should have at least $1 million in everybody's account. You said you won't want to work. So look at how disrespectful you people are, Ali, Jagdeo. That if we get money, we won't want to work. So what do? Why do you say that you work then? Why do you say, Barr, that you work hard as a vice president when you're not a vice president? But if when we get money, we wouldn't work, what do y'all do? All of your ministers are paid more than $1 million a month when you calculate what they earn. Why do they work? Why you say they're hardworking? Then Barr Jagdeo said that Darmlal is hardworking. So if when we get $1 million we don't work, why did Barrett Jagdeo say damn lad is hard working? Or you that disrespectful to us, the people? So if we cannot receive direct financial benefit from the oil, we don't have a reason to fight for it. It's that simple. You go fight for it. You can never disrespect me as a Guyanese and then ask me to go fight. And that is my final point, or one of the final points I make. If Ali assured people, or tried to, that Guyana is behind him. Now, let me ask you a question. How could you and Barrett Jagdeo seek to have all of Guyana support you on this Venezuela issue, when Barrett said that Cathy Hughes is a lowlife? So now you're telling me that the PPP wants lowlife Cathy to support you against Maduro? Why would you ask for a lowlife? You said Cathy Hughes is a lowlife, Barrett. So you're not wanting a lowlife. You want the thugs, remember that? You want the dunce thugs. You want the hungry bellies. You want these people to come out now, to stand as one. Why would you stand as one with a lowlife? Barrett, tell us please, why would you want a lowlife to stand with you against Maduro? I mean, is that a quality of man that you are? Where you would ask for a lowlife to support you? Is that what you want? You want thugs to support you? You said it, Annette Ferguson is a thug. That's what you said. That Annette is a thug because she was in House of Assembly. That's what you all said. With the Mace story. Do you want a thug in Annette to support you? Is that what you want? You said whenever we say anything, remember that. Riggers, oh yes, whenever somebody speaks against the PPP, your bats, your dogs, your raccoons, your crab dogs will come out to say that we are riggers. You want riggers to support you? How can you ask me, who you all call a rigger, to support you? No! You should remember that the PPP has angels. The PPP has angels. You all don't do anything wrong. You don't say anything wrong. You could call people low life and not one of them could correct you. Well, please take note that I would not like a rigger to support me in any cause. So you shouldn't ask for the riggers to support you. Remember that. Why would you ask for riggers to go to support this cause against Venezuela? No, you should not ask for that. Don't ask for the riggers to support you. Don't ask for the black monkeys to support you, as you call me. No, do not ask for that. Do not ask for anyone who was degraded by you all to support you. Do not ask for those who like broke up people thing and remember the Money Post story. Don't ask for all Guyanese. Please be specific. Ask for those who are not dunce thugs. Ask for those who are not hungry-bellied dogs. Ask for those who are not black monkeys. Ask for those who are not low life. Ask for those who are not riggers. You can say, listen, all of the people who are not in this category, you come and support us then. Because we don't want to have riggers in this line. Because let's say that Guyana said, listen, we have to vote as to whether we're going to give Essequibo to Venezuela, and that's actually has to happen. It has to go to referendum, and we must decide if our map is going to change. How can you ask riggers to vote, Irfan? So who will count the votes? How can you ask me that you call a rigger your supporters? How can you ask us, who you call riggers, to go to vote on Essequibo matter? Would we not rig? Don't you expect us to rig? How can you ask squatters to defend land? A squatter is one who doesn't own anything. They are on the land illegally. So all who's squatting in Essequibo, how can you defend Essequibo? What you need to do, because the helicopter went missing, I didn't hear you all say that the Sheriff Security sent their two choppers to help to look for the pilots today. Is that Omni transport? Because I hope it was. I hope it would have been shared security sending their security officers to search. Why didn't shared security have a team going into the to find Chopper? Squatters, please. You are illegal, as they call you. You are not allowed to live on any land where you are now because you're squatting. You don't have right to it. So do not fight for what you don't have rights to. I would like to say tonight that to those of you who are in Essequibo, you have no reason to be afraid and to wonder what Maduro will do to you. You are not his focus. You are not the center of his attention. Maduro's attention is not on you. Maduro's attention is on what Ali, because of his office, but more than that, Jagdio is doing to Guyana. He would not allow it, because Maduro has got enough foot soldiers on the ground to see exactly what they do on a daily basis. Maduro has got enough Venezuelans here in the city to see who lives where, and they could point out to Maduro, this is Jagdio's house, that's Priya's house, that's Frank's house. Oh, that one over there, that is the what, right, that's Muhammad's house. Oh, that one, oh, that's another PvP friend's house. Oh, that one, yeah, that's Susan Rodriguez's house. Oh, they can point out who the big contractors are. Oh yeah, Venezuelans are here now to show Maduro exactly who lives where. And then they can flip to show them, well, that's where the average Guyanese lives. Okay? So when Ali could go before CNN to say that he is Guyana's law-abiding and that he has the assurance of all of these various nations and bodies that Maduro cannot touch him, he doesn't know what he's talking about. To those in Essequibo, be aware that you are not Maduro's issue. What will likely happen is that quite a few people will have to flee and leave what they obtained illegally or what they obtained based on favors. So when some of you are trying to get your grants to mine gold and so on, and they refuse to give it to you, you are likely to have people who will run and leave them. I hope somebody's getting the point. My fellow Guyanese, my brothers and my sisters, my enemies and my friends, a man or a woman who has very little or nothing to lose has little to worry about. You are not to be worried. We are well. The wicked are not. The covetous are not. There are those who cannot sleep tonight because they have got 25, 30, 15 excavators digging our gold all the time, extracting our diamond all the time. They've got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 trucks. They have something to worry about. We don't have much to worry about. Do not worry. Maduro doesn't have you on his radar. He has got enough intelligence in Guyana to know exactly who to deal with and when to deal with them, if he decides to do so. We have nothing to worry about. The Chinese who want to treat people like garbage, they have an issue. We don't. And the Chinese know, I say again, that their money matters. So if Maduro can give them certain assurances, they'll support him. Thank you so much, my father. Thank you, Daddy. I'm so grateful. With that, I say good night to you all. I say shalom to those of you who are saints. And I hasten to remind you, if you're a saint, that Yahweh has spoken. You may not hear from me a lot, because Yahweh has spoken. Irfan Ali is an absolute failure. He's a failure because he is a dishonest person, and he's also a very weak person. He surrounds himself with people who pander to his juvenile insecurities. I'm not one of them. And the more you continue to insinuate or imply that I'm some false prophet, the worse it shall be for you. I'm telling you yet again, mark on your timeline, yet again, the more you seek to call me false and try to do all this nonsense and promote wicked people, the worse it shall be for you. Do well, Guyana. Be strong. If your heart is clean, if your hands are clean, if your mind is clean, you have nothing to worry about. The wicked worry, the righteous do not. Some of those who've done you wrong, you'll have to deal with the wrong people, or the right set of people. Do well. Live strong. Bye-bye.